What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Justus Schreiber. Today we're doing a video that we did with the Z a while ago. We're doing a complete overview of my Mk5 GTI. We have it posted up here sideways in the garage for you guys. We're going to go over it and why this is my personal favorite all-around daily. And yes, it's a Volkswagen GTI, which is quite basic, but I'll explain why it's specifically the Mk5 GTI. Let's get into it. So if you've seen any of our other videos, you know that these kind of walk around videos are pretty straightforward. It's just me talking about a topic or a car that I like very much. And today we're doing my beloved 2007 Mk5 GTI. Now, this car came about for trading the Saab a little while back, over I want to say 3 months ago, which seems like a while, but it has been through quite the transformation since we got it then. It's obviously sitting on coilovers, it's lower now, it's on new wheels, it's had some extensive engine repairs done by myself. The engine itself hasn't really been touched, but the things around it kind of have been fixed. It also just had a complete refresh on the front. It had a Golf front end, not a GTI front end, just like a base Golf front end. So we got that all sorted. We found some of the black cladding and a bunch of other things. But if you guys haven't seen one of these videos before, I'm just gonna go and start listing some stuff that's been done to the car, kind of talk about it, why I have it, why I love it, where I got it from, blah, blah, blah. Kind of give you the story of one of my personal vehicles. So this is a 2007 Mk5 GTI. This is not Autobahn or anything. I'm very confident that it's a base, but this is almost identical to the one my dad bought in 2008. He bought a 4-door in the darker gray, but it was also manual and it was also a Mk5. His was an amazing car. The reason I've fallen in love with the Mk5 specifically is because of my dad's 08 GTI that we got when it was just he and I. I grew up around and in that car. I learned to drive manual in that car when I was very young. So for me, Mk5s have always held a special place in my heart. This one, unlike my father's, it was not very clean. My dad's was literally brand new. I think he bought it with like 13 miles on the car. He was the first owner. We drove the living hell out of that car throughout my childhood, and it's the one car he regrets selling. So this car is extremely sentimental just from the fact that it's the Mk5, but this one has seen some shit. The car has 203,000 miles on it right now, which for a Golf is a fuck ton, but these are pretty robust. You can take care of them. They just have their quirks, like, you know, timing belts and water pumps and whatnot. This car has already had its major services done. It had its head off, had a complete refresh on the top end. It got a new timing belt and water pump as well at that time, along with a new camshaft. These are infamous for having issues with their cams, at least this generation of 2-liter turbo. This is an FSI motor, which means it's not chain timed, it's still belt. A few other small differences there, but that's all you really need to know on the motor. Since I've gotten it, it no longer leaks. It was piston oil originally, and what we did is a oil cooler and a oil filter housing. It's a common area for leakage on these cars. This one had it pretty bad. The oil cooler only had 3 bolts in it, which I don't even want to question, but that is where we were at with this car. But that is all taken care of nice and tidily now. So I want to talk about the wheels that I went with. So we got Audi S5 rotor wheels on here with the dynamic center caps, that auto center basically. They are weighted, so they always stay level at any speeds, which is pretty cool. I get a lot of shit for putting the Audi badge on here, or the Audi center cap, but it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it for non-car people to know that this thing has Audi wheels, and obviously for car people that already know, just to kind of be like, oh, that's kind of cool, he's got the dynamic fucking whatever. You know, it's like a little tasteful thing I like to do. Some people frown upon it. I love it. Wrapped around are the OEM size tires. They're just 225s, I believe, all around. Let me make sure I'm not bullshitting you on that. Yeah, 225 40s all around on an 18-inch wheel. And it handles great. This is on KSport Coilovers. That's how we get this ride height. They're probably the best mod I've done to the car so far. Looks-wise and handling-wise, it improved this car a shit ton. I highly recommend the KSport Coilovers. The bang for buck value so far has been amazing. I have had KSports once on my Z. When I first bought it, I didn't install them, and those were pretty poor, but that was due to age and I think the way they were installed. So honestly, so far, these KSports have been fantastic for a daily lowered, a little bit stiffer ride. So I already kind of gave you the backstory on why this car is super important to me because of my childhood. But on top of that, I think the Mk5 GTIs are some of the most overlooked GTIs. I know obviously there's a huge community for them, but when it comes to the other generations, the Mk7 is obviously revered as the best, more modern GTI just because of its all-around package, and I totally agree, that's a fantastic vehicle in itself. But when you come back to the Mk5 and Mk6, the Mk6 is often dictated as the better looking one just because of the facelift, although underneath they're very similar cars. The Mk6 is seen as the more attractive one. So I think the Mk5s get a lot of neglect, even more so than when the Mk4s kind of like were in that phase of neglect. The Mk4s are obviously harder to find in clean condition now, and people really like those. So for me, I think the Mk5 is a very good sweet spot, and price-wise, it's a no-brainer. You can get into one of these for less than $5,000 or at $5,000 with higher miles. And depending on the maintenance history, it can be a really good deal or a life-altering explosion of a vehicle. So, but this one, like I said, is a 203,000 mile survivor. It's been driven clearly. Paint is in okay condition. It's got some blemishes on the wing and the rear bumper and whatnot, but overall the clear coat's very decent. It just recently got detailed, so it's looking even better than before. The plastic's still black. That was also brought back by the guys who detailed the car. They did an amazing job on that. But overall, I think the Mk5 GTI is one of the best bang for your buck cars. Now, let's move on to the interior, show you guys what's going on here. It's fairly stock, but it does have some key differences, so let's check it out. We'll start off here on the driver's side. As you can see, we have a boost gauge here on the vent with a boost tap obviously running to it to get us some vacuum so we can kind of have that active. I love this a lot. I'm not a huge geek for boost. I mean, it's amazing and wonderful, but this is a stock turbo, stock tune. There's nothing done that's insane to this car, but this is really fun to watch, especially since this car didn't come with a factory boost gauge. Besides that, everything you see is pretty much stock. It's got a Blaupunkt center unit that looks like the OEM one, but obviously allows Bluetooth and some other functionalities, which is pretty cool. And then we'll move to the rear, but the rear seats are all stock. Everything in here is pretty much stock, and I love it, and it's beautiful, and yeah, that's great. This is good. So let's move to the trunk. We'll explain what's going on back there. All right, so in the back, we're gonna pop this bad boy open, and we'll get the camera closer. We have a 12-inch Rockford Fosgate punch sub with a custom box that says GTI on it. I did not do this. I would love to take credit for this. But the previous owner did this. It's got a quick disconnect on the right. It slots in perfectly, still gives me some the room we want, but also when we want to put the seats down for what Golfs are known for having a very usable cargo space, I can still do that. But this thing is amazing. It bumps. It's got two twin amps in the front under the passenger seat that are also Rockford Fosgate. And it's all beautiful. It works very well. This is a huge thing I advocate for, is always putting a good, better sound system in your vehicle, regardless if you want the sub or not. Just doing your woofers and your tweeters and just like everything speaker related, including your radio head unit and amps. It can really change the way you enjoy your car and just listen to music. So this is another highlight of the vehicle. I wish I could take credit for it, like I said, but it's done very well. And it's a fantastic sounding system. So like I said, this car is not a crazy build, but that's what I think I like the most about it. Coming from a few cars that I had owned previously, like the Saab and another few vehicles that were genuine projects already and could use a lot more work, this car was pretty laid out straightforward of what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what wheels I wanted to put on it since I was a kid, and I knew how I wanted it to ride. I didn't want it to be anything crazy, but I wanted it to be a little bit lowered, a little bit enhanced, just something that you can use and enjoy, and it still gets you from point A to point B without worrying about it blowing up. I think the GTIs already in a whole are a great starting point for fun daily-able cars. This one just happened to be exactly what I was looking for, and it is very much an egg, as you can tell just by the way the Mk5s are shaped. They're super round. I love these cars. But this build's idea, philosophy was just to keep it simple, put some nice wheels on it, lower it, make it sound cool. This does have a stock exhaust, but it does have a HGS blow-off valve up front, so there's a whole lot of intake noise. As you guys know, you've seen and heard that on this channel before. But I would like to do a resonator delete on this vehicle, get that exhaust sounding a little bit louder than it is right now, but it's not the end of the world by any means. And honestly, it sounds really good as it is, just with a stock exhaust. And maybe that's a sign that I'm getting older, because the more I start to do stuff to cars, I realize that honestly, keeping them as they are sometimes is fun to a degree. Like I said, I want them to ride nice and look cool, so lowering wheels is obviously where we got to go with that. However, there's some more things I want to talk about in this car's future. I do want to do some sway bars on it. It's an almost must mod on these cars. It actually really helps how these ride. I also would like to figure out the seat situation inside. Although I love the stock seats, maybe some Recaros would be nice just for looks and for comfort. The stock seats I've seen 203,000 miles, so they're little worn down at this point. The padding's not very good. Maybe switch the wheels up in the future, but I really like these Audi wheels. And then I would also like to do possibly a little lip kit, not around the whole car, but like maybe a new spoiler, an extension, something of that sort to give it kind of more of an attack look. But besides that, the car's staying silver. I don't have any plans of wrapping this thing. Oh, and I would like to do the Euro taillights on this thing as well because I think those would look cool, although the stock taillights look totally fine as they are. So yeah, pretty simple overview, but I love this car and I just wanted to share a few things about it, kind of where it's at right now, because I haven't really done that. I've just been making videos just randomly, so yeah. So there you have it. That's my Mk5 GTI, guys. It's super basic, but it is probably one of the most favorite cars I've ever owned. In fact, I enjoy it just as much as I enjoy driving and sliding the Z, which is dumb to say, but just the noise, the feel of it, it's a Volkswagen thing maybe, for me at least, because I've grown up around these things, and especially around Mk5s. But this car is fantastic, and it's only gonna get better. If the motor ever does blow up due to unforeseen circumstances, you can definitely expect to see a swap on this car, probably with another 2-liter, but maybe spice it up a little bit, maybe do a KO4 and some more other fun things, because these cars are easy to make power in, especially with the 2-liter. It's a good little motor, and honestly, like 300 horsepower on this car would be insane. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you want to see more videos, check them out below. There's a bunch of cool stuff down there. Also, I want to say thank you guys for 1,000. We just hit 1,000 subscribers as of last night, which is kind of fucking mental for me. I've been only taking this seriously for a few months now, so to see the growth in those past few months has been crazy, and the response to some of the videos has been insane as well. I love talking to you guys in the comments and just talking to you guys about cars, so yeah, thank you for the journey so far. I hope to keep going, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. There's a bunch of other videos. Go check them out. You guys have a great night. See ya.